This video just serves as a bit of a personal vlog on the stuff that I learned or wanted to reflect on throughout the year. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Sean. I worked on Cool Team for GAM200 and 250. We ended up making a game called Mirage, that's a 2D side-scroller action shooter. I wanted to start off by saying that this year was pretty wild. For the very first time, we made a game engine from the ground up, we worked on a multidisciplinary team, and that all culminated into a project that I'm really proud of. So I worked on the game as a programmer, but my primary role was as the team's producer. This means that my responsibilities were to facilitate team communication, work through team-related issues, keep everyone informed on milestones or events, and just be the main bridge of communication between the instructors and the team as a whole. So doing this for a full year really changed my perspective on how I should approach a lot of these tasks. And so like I said, this video will just serve as a bit of a reflection on my tasks and how I would approach them differently. So let's just jump right into it. So very early into the project, we thought we were going to be a rhythm game. So we scheduled a team on one because that game idea was just not feasible. I want to preface this story by saying that, admittedly, I'm a very stubborn person. And I really think that came out at our first team on one. You see, at the meeting, our artists had a bit of inspiration. They were thinking of going with a surrealist look to our game. And I remember I objected to this at the time with one thumbs down. God, I didn't do two. With one thumbs down, I objected to this because I didn't like surrealism. Now, there's nothing wrong with this opinion, but to say I don't think we should do it just because I don't like it, that's pretty close-minded. I think I remember actually Rutherford called me out on this in some way or another. And obviously this surrealist look came out to be the best thing on our project, and this just further shows that I need to be more accepting of other people's ideas. This narrow-mindedness of mine also unfortunately showed its face in the second team on one we had. So one of the topics brought up at the second team on one was that we were thinking of adding shooting enemies to the game. And initially I was one of the biggest advocates against adding this. My reasoning being that it would be one more thing for the tech team to do, it would just be another thing for the designers to have to deal with, the artists would have to animate it, and realistically it wasn't really that big of a burden on the team. Looking back at my reasoning, that wasn't truly what I was advocating for. You see, I was only saying these things because I didn't want enemies to shoot back at the player. And once again, there's nothing wrong with that opinion, but I can't let my personal bias slip into these decisions. Actually, let me rephrase that. I can't let these personal biases hide behind other reasoning. If I legitimately have the opinion that enemies shouldn't shoot back at the player, I need to explain that and articulate that. I should say that outright. Looking at our game now, I really don't know where the challenge in our game would be if enemies couldn't shoot at the player. So again, just showing that I need to be open to other people's ideas. So anyways, another thing that I did was micromanage. So as producer, I felt it was my job to make sure that everything on the team was running smoothly, which is not my job to do. And what this feeling manifested as was a bit of micromanaging. I can remember a specific instance where Annabelle, our art lead, posted a bit of a progress update / vent, kind of saying that, hey, I'm sorry I didn't get a lot of things done this weekend, I had a lot of things going on, here's a progress update. And at the moment, I was already concerned with the amount of work that the artist had to do. So what I took this post as is that I need to go in, I need to fix everything, I need to prioritize the work that the artists are doing, which... Good God, Sean. Anyways, so I crashed one of their meetings, and I started trying to prioritize their list of tasks. I was talking to them about everything that they were doing, and in the end, we hadn't made any progress on prioritization. You see, the artists were already doing their work with prioritization. They already knew their timings, and they already knew the list of tasks that they needed to get done in which order. So, I kinda just wasted their time? Sorry about that, by the way. Once again, this is micromanagement. This is trying to control even the finest details of the project, which, if you find yourself doing again, Sean, try to avoid it. I think one of the biggest takeaways as a person myself is that I need to charge into things head on. You see, there is a lot of team issues that could have been addressed way sooner. And instead of getting to them, I let them build up, and I made justifications for not getting to them right now. And I did this because I was afraid. I was afraid to take these issues on. And I can't let myself get scared because it'll be a difficult conversation to have, or it'll be a tough problem to solve. I need to have the courage to take these things head on. And if things get hot, I know my team's got my back. So another thing that I wanted to improve on is how I conducted myself during meetings. Just to free fire a few things, I would restate myself over and over, I would ramble or get off topic, and sometimes I wouldn't make sure that notes were being taken on the meeting. But I would say one of the biggest problems that I had is how I would bring up topics or issues during meetings. You see, I would often bring up a topic and then let myself immediately go first. That's not the way to approach that. You see, my job as producer isn't to have my opinion be corrected by the team, it's to let the team as a whole solve the issue. My opinion is still an equal part, but it isn't the center of the conversation. Oh, man, okay. So this next thing is pretty embarrassing. Sometimes I would bring up a topic, I would state my opinion on it, and then say, oh, but we should talk about this topic later. Like, what? Sean, you just locked everyone out of that conversation, and yet you put your own opinion to that before anyone could get a say in it. Sean, you absolute hypocrite! I'm sorry about that, by the way. I just wanted to say sorry about that. So that covers a few of the things that I wanted to talk about. Obviously, I only talked about the stuff that I learned as a producer, and not about the stuff that I learned as a programmer. Don't get me wrong, I still did learn a lot as a programmer. In the end, I couldn't really be more happy with how our game came out. I'm super proud of the work that we put in, and every time I look at the game, I smile. We're planning to go to Steam and itch.io soon, so I can't wait to show off when we get there. But I think that just about wraps it up. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later.